From the field to the card shop, it's Moon 3PO and Bro PO breaking down baseball and the hottest sports cards. Bro PO, it's a Monday night. How you doing? How you feeling? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. I just finished yeeting, watching Jey Uso win the Intercontinental title on Monday Night Raw. Getting over a tummy ache, but I'm good. I'm ready to talk some ball.
Tummy ache and wrestling. If you guys didn't go see the latest vlog here up on the Moon 3PO channel, go check that video out. You guys would know that he was unfortunately absent due to the little tummy ache. But Mrs. Moon 3PO, Ash Ketchum, we did get approval. Ash Ketchum was in the vlog. Obviously, you saw her ripping open some packs there. So if you guys haven't yet, go check out that vlog. Nice little mini vlog, like I mentioned in the past episodes, trying to bring some different style of content to you guys that hopefully you guys enjoy. That's doing card shows, going to card shops. I know we kind of mentioned Boomtown a little bit. That's something that we're still trying to work on, see if we can configure our schedules out for that. But yeah, again, if you haven't, go check out that vlog. Link will be down in the bio if you're watching on YouTube, or for the audio listener, again, channel is Moon 3PO. Now, this episode here is going to be a little bit of a stacked one. We put out episode, what episode is it? 6? When we put out episode 5, a lot of the topics that we talked about the following day, everything happened. We talked about Topps update series not being a checklist. Now we have a checklist. We talked about Shohei Ohtani potentially doing 50-50. Do hit 50-50 and 51-51, 52-52, whatever he decided to do, wherever he's currently at. We'll cover a little bit more of Shohei Ohtani in its episode. So everything that we talked about in episode 5 is not going to be talked about further in this episode. So of course, we got update series 2. We officially have a checklist. So we will be going over the checklist here. It's pretty loaded from what I saw. Of course, we'll go into more detail, kind of get your opinion on that. And then we went over prices in the last episode. So again, if you haven't seen that, hear that episode, go check that out. Or you can obviously just go on Topps and check out those prices. So we're definitely going to go deeper into the parallels and the checklist and just get our overall thoughts on that. Like we just touched upon here, we're going to be diving deep into Shohei Ohtani, his 50-50 and his push to 60-60. And obviously, if you guys don't know as well, obviously Topps released his Topps Now card, and we'll go over that. And then just in general, in hobby news, we got some PSA announcements. Now, these were announcements here that were made, of course, by sports market movers. We're going to go over into a little more detail. I believe some other YouTubers or content creators covered it as well, but we're also going to cover it here. And then we got a little bit of mini baseball news. Not the best baseball news. I feel like this is back-to-back episodes where we're talking about not very good baseball news when it comes to players, but hey, it's ball, and we're going to talk about it. So let's first start off with PSA. Now we're talking a little bit off channel here, and you weren't too familiar with the recent guideline changes, which I wouldn't expect you to. Obviously, you're like you've discussed in a couple episodes ago. You're not too familiar with the whole grading process or keep up with the grading, but there's been some big changes when in regards there to PSA and to their agreement terms and conditions. And obviously, as someone who's getting into grading like yourself, kind of want to throw it to you as well to see what you think about this and the overall sentiment with PSA. Now, the first term here that we have for their guidelines is for avoid, and I'm reading this verbatim. This is on PSA's website. You can read, look at this here and read it for yourself. So basically, it's here. So for avoidance or doubt, non-conforming packaging includes, but is not limited to, submission of items in correct materials, rigid top loader and sleeves, exclusion of intraneous materials, pull tabs, or stickers. So basically, what that means is that if you are submitting an order, I have seen some people do it where they put a specific penny sleeve that has a little pull tab, or they would put a little pull tab sticky note, and you can easily pull the card out for the grader. PSA is telling you they do not want that. They just do want a standard penny sleeve and no top loader. They do not want you using a top loader. If you do use it, they will be charging you extra fees because according to them, it slows down the process. Supposedly there is new technology or new ways of getting the cards out or grading the cards where they do not want you to use a top loader and a pull tab penny sleeve. They want you to use a standard penny sleeve and a semi-rigid holder. Obviously, if you're a YouTube viewer, you're obviously seeing it here. And obviously, I've covered that a lot on my TikTok. So again, I'm not trying to promote all my stuff on TikTok, but I've covered this in the past. So please feel free to go check that out, how to prep your cards. Nothing too crazy as far as of that. Again, that's been pretty standard. That's been pretty well known there. And the hobby, the big thing here, and this is the big one that I saw on these next ones here, or are getting a little bit bigger as far as of biggest terms and conditions. So the newest rule here, the newest change to the guideline is that you authorize PSA to charge the final amount due to your payment method without notice to you or further authorization by you, so long as such amount does not exceed your estimated order total at checkout more than $500 or lesser an amount disclosed to you during your order submission. All charges will be made in US dollars. So basically, dumbing that down, what that means is that PSA in the past used to send you an email or give you a notice saying, hey, your card is worth a little bit more than $500 than what you thought. We're going to charge you an extra fee to make sure that it's going to get safely to you. That's not the case anymore. PSA, when you have your card saved, your debit card, your credit card saved on there, you give them the authorization to charge you, no questions asked. And it can be anywhere up or below $500. Now, as someone like yourself, you hear that. What's your thought about that?
Sorry, say that again. You like you cut in and
Did I
out.
cut out?
Yeah.
as someone, as someone, you hear that you're on, you basically on free roam to charge you $500. If your card is, they think it's worth more. So, like you're one of one, Chris Bryant. Let's say we put an estimated $500. They grade it. They say, no, I think your card's worth more than that. We're going to charge you more than $500, and we're going to charge you up to anywhere up to that. What does your head go to when you hear that kind of stuff?
I mean, how about heads up? I mean, these guys take a month and a half to freaking grade your cars as it is already, and then you just want to up and charge me more without giving me a notice. I mean, that's how about a little bit of discretion, you know?
So some of the argument that I was hearing from some people, it was like sometimes they don't check their emails, or like sometimes PSA will keep sending them emails and emails and emails saying like, hey, like this is being updated. Now they're just gonna straight up charge you. I saw somebody say like, oh, it's a good thing because that means my card got is worth more than they think, which I think to me is still kind of a little bit bogus. But yeah,
I mean, sure,
I
but
heard that.
I mean, for as big as a company that they are, they can't send like one email like, "Hey, we're gonna charge you so and so the tomorrow." Like, it can't be that hard. Like, it can't.
Yeah. So when I heard that, I was like, I wasn't a bigger fan of that. I thought that was kind of crazy, ridiculous. That the fact that they already charge you a crazy amount to get your cards graded, and now if it is worth more than they think, which of course estimating value is a little bit of already a tougher discussion now that they think that their card's worth more than it is, and whatever grade that they give it, they're not going to be charging you anywhere fees, and they don't have to let you know about that.
Hmm.
Now the biggest one here, mine is from being charged. This is the one that I've talked about a lot on my TikTok as well. So it's doctored and inauthentic items, fraud prevention and investigation. So it says here that you represent and warrant that any item submitted for any PSA grading service is genuine, and you have no knowledge and no reasonable basis to believe that the item is doctored item. You affirm your obligation with respect to doctored items set forth in these terms, and that can be doctored, or doctoring, meaning the alteration of the appearance of an item. That's but things such as, but not limited to, trimming, recoloring, bleaching, power erasing, cleaning, waxing, rebacking, or any form of restoration used to enhance the appearance, a condition, or content of an item. And says it here that you agree that PSA would suffer irreparable damage if you are to engage in doctoring of any item, and that PSA is entitled to not only compensatory, I can't say that word, damages, but also preliminary and final injunctive relief for any breach of her obligation. So basically, what that means, or what they're stating, is that if they find out that you cleaned your card, you used any wax to your card, they're entitled to take something from you. I heard some people say like they can take you to court, present legal actions.
Hmm.
Now, when I submitted my order, I never used any wax or anything like that. I know there are some specific people who do use wax to clean the card. Sometimes some wax can't use. There's a specific one called Kurt's Card Care, where there's a wax and a spray, where if you use the wax, it can take off any, scratches, maybe a little bit of blemishes, that little schmeckles that we see sometimes on some cards that can get the cards to a 9. You use that product, it can now get to a 10. Now, I kind of want to throw it to you because I know you're a little bit newer to the grading aspect. What's if you were going to submit a submission, are you in favor of using wax? Like, do you would you want to use wax, or like if you're a buyer as well, if you got a PSA 10, but you know they used wax on it, and that's when it went from a 9 to 10. Are you in favor of that, or are you just in favor of just the microfiber, getting the little thumbprint off of it, and sending the card as is?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna try to like put any like sticky foreign substance on the car to try to. I mean, if anything, you could probably make it worse. I'm all just for like, just get a little microfiber cloth and clean off the little schmeckling, some thumbprints and stuff like that. So, I mean, I really don't see the point of waxing it. I mean, I would think if you're waxing it, it has to be like some kind of big mistake on it, or like some kind of schmeckling. I don't know. I don't know what would drive somebody to wax their car, to like Mr. Miyagi
Yeah,
and
like
wax on,
there's
wax off.
wax on, wax off. There's a specific TikToker. I don't know his name. I just run into his videos every once in a while. He plays like real calming music. He's wearing gloves and he's just cleaning the wax and he's doing that stuff. Um, it's very calming, very soothing, very ASMR esque.
Some ASMR.
But very ASMR esque. It's actually very calming. It puts me to sleep sometimes. But I see him do that, and like me, like when I submitted my first order, like I was scared to like do it. Obviously, I've never used that. I preface that in my videos. I don't use any wax or clean. I just use the microfiber cloth, a little bit of a little small little thing that I have that cleans off any other debris. But that people are still using it. But I guess my counter argument to that as well is like if PSA was to get the card and they see wax, how would they know like I was the one who did the wax? I can easily say like, hey, I just bought this Tristan Casasipia card at a card show. I just sleeved it up, threw in a rigid top loader, sent it to you guys. Like I didn't do any cleaning. Like how are you going to take me to court or take me to legal or take any damages or anything like that or charge me any more fees? Like to me, that seems a little bit more crazier and there's a lot. It's a double edged, I guess, or like open ended because I don't know how they can prove that I was the one who physically. Not saying I'm going to be doing that, but I just don't see how they can say, "Nope, you did it. I'm not going to grade your card," or "Nope, you did it. I'm going to grade your card and I'm going to take something from you," or blah blah blah. I just personally
I'm
don't see
pretty
how they can prove that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it also depends on the car that you're sending in. Like if you're sending in uh some schmuck that hasn't done nothing yet, I highly doubt they're gonna, try to do anything. But if you're trying to send like a one of one Wemby auto, or like a card from like back in the day, like an old Babe Ruth card, or a Hank Aaron card, or something like that, it's old and beat up, and you restore it to get the value higher, then maybe, yeah, I can see that you're trying to mess with the card. But I think it's gonna be, dependent on the card itself.
I always, I know they're obviously I'm not into vintage cards. I tried I should get into vintage cards, honestly. There are some really cool old school cards, Hank Aaron's 52, 69 tops, things of that nature. But like to me, like
Yeah,
I
man,
always like to throw it to
we
like
gotta be like those we gotta be like those little old guys who have their magazines and they're there highlighting their shit off the magazine.
yeah, I see like off the Beckett, like circling off the little check mark. Ooh, this card was 17 cents. I want to get into vintage,
They got their stack
especially
lights right
in
next to them.
at a card show, dude. Tell me about it. Um, Especially like an SGC slab. Vintage cards in an SGC slab just looks so good in my opinion. I think it looks good. I think everybody has that same um opinion with that. But like my thing too with that is like kind of I don't want to say going off on a tangent, but like when it comes to like books or like we not so much anymore, but like we used to we used to collect comic books a lot. Um, like I would think like restoring the card can like help its value a little bit too because like obviously you want to get the top notch stuff like you don't want to buy a 52 mantle with a smidgen crack on it like if I can restore it and I can make it better like as a collector like if I'm a collector like I like hey like I kind of appreciate that like you like this card is better in value it looks better for my collection like I can potentially again it's double sided. You know, you can definitely play the devil's advocate as far as like, no, I want to buy the card as is. I don't want any altering doctoring to it. Like that's the card, that's the card. Or there's the potential collector side of it where it's like, hey, like I want to make sure that I'm getting the best bang of my buck. if you can improve this card and take out maybe a scratch out of a vintage card or improve the corner of a card, I personally again don't see the issue with that. But again, I can see where it's a devil's advocate or kind of goes back. It's more of a back and forth.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, there's some people that may just want the card as it was back in the day, and there may be some who want it like restored. And if I mean, the only way I can think about it around that is maybe if they market or label it as a restored card, maybe that might save the issues. So, or change the color label or something like that. I don't know.
So yeah, they do that, but they put altered on it and they don't give you a grade, from my understanding. So they'll send it back to you, but like,
Uh,
oh, it's altered. Like you yeah, we figured out it's altered. So and they won't grade it, and they
uh,
won't give it a grade. And
that
now with
sucks.
the new thicker slabs, or
Sneaky,
like with the
sneaky,
new improved
sneaky.
slabs, I don't know how easy. I've never cracked a PSA slab or any slab, if I'm being completely honest. So I don't know how. I've seen people do it. Not the easiest process, and it can definitely be a little bit dangerous if you're, messing with those two, and can potentially damage a card even more if you are doing that. But yeah, PSA making a lot of changes. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here moving forward with PSA and their fees and their charges. I know people always, people like to complain about PSA and they talk about their charges, but I think what people also fail to realize too, like, yes, there are people who control the market, but we control the market too. We're the ones that put the value on PSA cards, and we're the ones that put the value on a PSA 9 being lower or being the price of a raw card. So, I mean, we control the market. We've said a PSA 10 is PSA 10. A PSA 9 is not superb to a PSA 9, and its only value is to a raw card. So, as much as people like to complain about PSA, we are, like it or not, a big contributor of that. And if you want to put more value to an SEC card or any other grading company card, hey, that's ours for us to do, and that's going to be a whole market, a whole hobby that's going to take for that to happen. But obviously, PSA will be definitely keeping tabs on them. From what I've heard, this hasn't been officially announced. They will be making an official announcement soon, from what I've heard, when that all comes. But they will make a bigger announcement, emails, things like that, once they do officially announce it. But this is already in their terms and conditions. So again, if you haven't, go check that out. Go check out their website so you can check it out and read it for yourself. Now to transition to a little bit more of unfortunate news with baseball. I know we talked about Derek Bender last week and what he's doing there with tipping his pitches. We got some more unfortunate news in baseball here with this time a young rising star by the name of CJ Abrams. Now, CJ Abrams was optioned at AAA this past weekend. When I got the alert that that happened, I had to double read that because I was like, what the hell did he do? Like, I knew he was struggling. I think he was saying like below 200 or like 203, something like that, in the second half of the season. But in my head, I was already thinking, there's only like 2 days or two games left in the AAA season. Like, why is he being sent out? Like, was he that bad? And turns out it was worse than being bad. He was gambling. Nationals manager Davey Martinez confirmed to reporters in Chicago that it wasn't a performance issue, saying it's an eternal issue, and I'm not going to give specifics. Martinez adds that I'm going to support CJ. He's a big part of our Nats family, and he will be. But at this point, it's the right thing to do. It says here, and then they asked Mike Rizzo, who is the general manager of the Washington Nationals, says here, we're all aware of the report, but beyond that is an eternal issue that we will keep in the family. And it says the time of the move immediately raised eyebrows given that AAA season ends on Monday, which is at the time of the recording, it ends on Monday. The roster move is more of a message to the 23-year-old Abrams, whose talent was never in question as he was part of the Juan Soto package. And it says here that just because there is only 2 days of the season, he will not be rejoining the club for the rest of the week. Abrams will head to the team spring facility in West Palm Beach. The Nationals recalled Trey Lipscomb and a corresponding move. Now, when I first saw gambling, my brain went to like, oh crap, like please don't tell me he was gambling on baseball. Because we obviously saw the crackdown, those minor league guys that also got cracked down for gambling. And obviously we all heard and saw the Chope and Ipe gambling situation and scandal and everything like that. But when you read that report, like, did you think anything of it? Like, do you think, hey man, guys is gambling? Is there a
Yeah,
picture going on Twitter of him just sitting at a casino table? I don't know what time it is, but he just
I
lost some
think.
cash. There, there was a funny meme they
Yeah, I
put
think
of
he's at
him and
the. I think he's at the. I think he's at the roulette table, and those are not fun when you're losing money. So I was like, because I've done that before in Vegas gambling. But yeah, when I saw the whole gambling thing, I was like, Jesus, please. I was the same thing. I was like, please do not tell me he was betting on baseball or any of this other stuff that's gonna get him more in trouble. To kind of just sound to me, I guess I was getting more like the Derek Bender vibes, where I don't know if he's just like, all right, the season's almost over. We're obviously not in playoff contention. He did struggle mightily in the second half. So like in the second half of the season, he was batting 203 with an on base of 260 and slugging 326. Only hit 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. So I mean, he was struggling at the plate. So I don't know if it's just the grind is getting to him and he's just ready for the season to be over. But again, to be eight, I think from what I read that they had a 1 o'clock game in Chicago and they saw him at the casino at 8 in the morning or something like that. So for
Yeah,
him to
something like
be
that.
pulling an all
They
nighter
yeah.
is not good, not a good look.
Yeah, so I had to read. I read the report. I'm in a Discord where there's like a whole baseball channel. For another YouTuber, he put that out, and I was like, why did he get down an option at AAA? This is the guy. Like, I was even thinking about buying his cards at one point or getting a nice little stack of his cards because, like we've discussed it here when we were kind of talking about Dylan Cruz. Uh, he's obviously a very big part of that future, where it's him, Cruz, Mackenzie Gore, James Wood, those types of guys. So when I heard that, I was like, "Oh man, like please do not tell me that baseball has a Pete Rose problem, a gambling problem again, because this is not the first time this is being I first time addressed when it's actually a superstar. Obviously, Otani was not a part of it, but being linked to him. But this is the first time that I could think of, minus from Pete Rose, obviously, that's been linked to some type of gambling. Obviously, not in sport gambling, but linked to some type of gambling. So I'm curious to see how this affects the future. I don't My personal opinion, I don't think it's going to really affect him too much. I think this is more of like a mental thing with him, kind of like you mentioned, kind of struggling, maybe just trying to take the edge off a little bit. I don't think losing money is that kind of way, but I would counteract that. For me to take the edge off, I rip open packs and I lose money. So I guess he's doing his own version of that. But I like we discussed here, he's young, 23 is going to be a big part of that future. So I'm not worried about him. Are you worried about his future with this thing? You think that's going to affect him at all?
Nah, I don't think so. I think he's gonna. I think he'll probably learn from this. He'll learn how to adjust. And like I said, it's his. I think this is his first full season, right? Is it?
Yes, first full season.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he'll be good. He'll be all right. Yeah, like you said, he's a big part of that future. So I think they're gonna work with him and say, hey, it's not the way to go about it, and they'll straighten him up. Because I really, if you think about it, I don't think the Nats have like that veteran presence, right? Like, there's not really no
Let me look up the
guy there.
roster. I don't. That's a good question. I really don't think there is a yeah, like that veteran presence, which is what we see in a lot of these young guys who do get in trouble or do stupid things. That's the thing that they definitely do struggle with. But yeah, I don't at the top of my head, I can't really think of a
I mean,
veteran
you got
presence. I'm gonna
Patrick
bring up the
Patrick
roster right
Corbin.
now.
Patrick Corbin's there. You can think what you want about Patrick Corbin. Joey Gallo's there. Uh,
So
yeah, I mean,
yeah, I
I would
mean, looking at it,
probably everybody else is like
yeah,
data
I
sources above
mean,
2,000.
yeah, I mean, if you, I wouldn't put. I think position players kind of take the wing of those guys, and pitchers kind of have that. The pitcher for a veteran for a pitcher is a veteran going to be a veteran pitcher for that staff. Don't think Patrick Corbin is that guy. Um, but yeah, like looking at it
Yeah,
from
so
just from
looks like
from a
it's
position standpoint, it's Joey
Joey Gallo.
Gallo, which is making me feel very old. I remember when he came in and he was hitting moon bombs with the Rangers. But yeah, so definitely kind of plays into that a little bit when your outfield is their outfielder Jacob Young, born in 1999. That kind of just shows it there. Um, but yeah, I think CJ Abrams, he's going to be fine. I don't think this is going to affect him. I think this is more of like a wake up call for him if he needs it. Maybe if he needs a little bit of help. Obviously, there are also resources for him. And like the National said, that this is more of just like an eternal thing that they're going to address it with them, and it's nothing that's going to be disciplinary as far as of next year. And yeah, hopefully he bounces back next year because again, I think he is a bright star in the game and one of the brighter shortstops here. Did he? Oh, did he have a 2020 or did he fall just short of a 2020 this year? I think he just came a little bit short, right? Uh,
Uh,
no, he did have a
no,
2020. He had 20
2020.
home runs, 31
Yeah,
backs. Yeah,
2020 homers.
OPS
Yeah,
over 110. So yeah, I mean, he was having a pretty decent year, kind of like you mentioned, second half kind of struggled there a little bit. It looks like it's the second full year. I'm sorry, but still very young. We definitely know baseball is obviously a grind. It takes a while for these guys to kind of uh, get that accustomed under their belt. But yep, CJ Abrams, not worried about him at all. Now, to make a transition here back to the card shop here, back to the hobby here, we got finally a checklist of tops update series. Now, like we mentioned here, the artwork here is pretty immaculate. We got Yoshinobu Yamamoto and we got Shota Imanaga on the cover. Now, this is going to be a 350 card set. Compare that to 2023. That is 2023 was a 330 base set. So do have a little bit of an increase as far as of the base and the parallels. Now, as far as of base players, I'm not going to go over every player in this list. Obviously, here we want to focus here is going to be on the rookies. Now, obviously, the big name here making his debut in his first flagship is going to be Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens will be having his rookie debut cards and all other trading card, rookie card logo officially in flagship. So I definitely will be picking up a few boxes of these cards, definitely some singles as well. Because again, Paul Skeens, even though he is a pitcher, like we've prefaced here on the channel, I've talked about him a lot. I mean, we like talk about in the podcast. He is his own brand. He's his own. He separates himself from just a typical standard pitcher. So he's definitely a guy that you want to keep an eye out for in the set if you're going to be ripping open the set. And obviously, that's going to Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know how Breakers are going to handle that. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Pirates will be the big chase in these breaks. And of course, with some of these cards here, we do have the official rookie debut cards. I like the rookie debut cards. Those long term can do a little bit better, like a Shohei Ohtani, for example. That's going for about like $40. So if you can get yourself a good rookie debut, especially in a little specific parallel, you can do some pretty good with that. Now, when it comes to the parallel checklist, again, we got a lot of parallels, and we're going to go over. We're obviously not going to go over into detail into each one, but we do have quite a bit of parallels. So we have the Aqua. The Aqua are only going to be in Fanatics exclusive. Those are going to be in every 1 to 2 packs. So you are guaranteed a few of them there. So if you buy from Fanatics, you are guaranteed a Aqua card. And those look pretty cool. I have an Evan Carter at a PSA 9. Wish I was a 10, but got one at a PSA 9. We do got the gold foil. Those are going to be in jumbo boxes only. That will be in 1 to 2 box. We do have the golden mirror SP. Those are the short prints. Those are going to be a little bit harder to pull as far as the pack odds. Then we got the rainbow foil, royal blue foil, silver crackle foil board, yellow, and then the yellow, of course, also only in hanger boxes. Definitely do love me some hanger boxes. And I definitely do love those yellow parallels. So if you can get a good yellow, I don't know what Paul Skeens jersey is going to look like. I don't believe they've announced that yet or what his image is, but I think a yellow Pittsburgh jersey and a yellow foil border, I think that would be pretty clean. A color match there, I think that would be pretty clean. Blasts me. And then
And
we
then an
got, of course,
SGC
the
black slab. Ooh.
ooh, and an SGC black. Yeah, that see that now you're speaking my style there. That see, I think that's going to be pretty clean. Hopefully, now I'm just hoping that it's a yellow jersey. Maybe the yellow jersey, maybe it's like an image variation or something. But
They might
yeah,
put
that
him
would
in
be
the
pretty
City
cool.
Connects. The City Connects are yellow.
Oh, yeah, the I think it has like the PGH or something or PGH something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
look pretty clean. So yeah, and those are all the parallels. Those are just the non-numbered parallels. So of course you would need to take a look here at the card there to make sure that you if you do pull one of those, are not going to be numbered. Now, as far as the serial numbered, there are quite a bit of them. So we have obviously the typical gold; those are numbered out of 2024. We have the blue holofoil out of 999, purple holofoil out of 799, green crackle foil board out of 499, orange crackle foil board at the tongue twister out of 299. Then we have the red crackle foil board out of 199. Then we, of course, we have vintage stock. Those are out of 99. And then we have some of the holiday parallels making their day back. We have the Independence Day. Those are pretty cool. Those are numbered out of 76. Obviously, Independence Day at number out of 76. Then we have the blacks. Those are always fun to chase, especially for rookies. Those are numbered out of 73. Father's Day powder blue. Those are gonna be numbered out of 50. Mother's Day hot pink number out of 50. Yellow crackle out of 50, Memorial Day camo out of 25, clear out of 10, platinum. Those are going to be 1 to 1, and then there's also going to be printing plates out of 1 of 1. Now, the coolest thing that I think with this set, people hate them, but I mean, if you hate these, man, you just hate the holiday season. You hate anything in general. But we got some little bit of some spooky uh parallels here. We have the holiday. So the holiday base, then we have a Jack O' Lantern, Ghost, Mummy, Black Cat, Witch's Hat, and Bat. And these are kind of hard to pull. So, like for example, a mummy and a blaster box is going to be out of 1 out of 204 packs. A black cat is 1 out of 1,027. Witch's hat 1 out of 203 packs, and bats is 1 out of 10,011 packs. So even though they're seasonal, they're numbered. If you pull one of those cards, and obviously it's the time of the season, you know, you can make a little bit. I'm pretty sure there's a collector like myself who likes a little bit of the spooky season there. And wants to get maybe a Paul Skeens with a little bit of black cats. Get represent my cat a little bit here. A shout out to my cat Nubbies. Um, Now when you see all these parallels, you read them, especially the holiday ones as well. Like, are you into all those parallels? I know we kind of hinted it with Bowman Chrome, like the red what was it? The red reptile refractor. I don't know what they called it. But when you see those types of parallels and all those types of parallels, is it once again kind of circling back to the question? Is it overwhelming for you, or do you like it since it's flagship and it's nothing too crazy as far as the prices and things like that?
I mean, I think it can be. Like, I'm looking at the checklist right now, and there's like 47 pages of this. Like, that's a lot. But I do like it because, like I said, it is flagship, so the price is not going to be something crazy. Like, I think we talked about it. I think like the hobby was like $87, something like around $90, right? And you're guaranteed like an auto or a relic, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yes. So a hobby box
so
is 87.99. You're guaranteed at least one auto or relic. A hobby box is, or a jumbo box, I'm sorry, is I believe 194. Which is like about an extra $100, and you're guaranteed at least one auto or two relics. And we're gonna touch on the relics in a little bit because they're also pretty good relics in here.
yeah, so I mean, it's not too. I think that's what kind of makes it. I want to say kind of counteracts it. So I do like the spooky cards. You know, I'm a big holiday person. Uh, so I love me some spooky cards. But yeah, I was looking at the set list. I mean, in the set list, the checklist, and I'm looking like I'm curious about like these let him cook autograph variations. I mean, those sound like they're gonna be pretty interesting. You got like Bobby Witt on here, Fernando Tatis, Ellie De La Cruz, Jackson Holiday, Paul Skeens is in there, Shohei. So I'm curious to see what those cards look like.
Yeah, so on Tracy and Majors there, they have a just like a generic version of a let him cook checklist. And these are I don't want to say they're hard to pull, but I mean a hobby box are 1 out of 32 packs, a jumbo is 1 out of 8, retail 1 out of 32, hanger boxes 1 out of 9, fat pack 1 out of 17. So they're not really rare. Of course, if you pull some type of parallel like a blue, a black, gold, red, or a platinum, those would be a little bit rare, but I like the designs. We kind of hinted on there a little bit in last episode too, like the let him cook, make obviously making the Breaking Bad reference, or obviously sports culture reference as far as letting him cook. I like them a lot. I think they're pretty cool. Obviously, they have a Gunnar Henderson, so I like those a lot. It's only going to be a matter of time till we get like a bring the boom. He brings the boom checklist.
Kaboom!
If they bring out a if they bring out a card like that, I would absolutely lose my mind. Um, and kind of like we're talking about here as far as of autographs and relics. Paul Skeens is, like we've discussed here, he is going to have on card autos and relics in this set. So I believe there's like the 1989 design. There's going to be a Paul Skeens. That's going to be the card number 898UPS. So you want to keep looking out for that. One thing that I did see here, I think maybe a lot of people may have passed this. I'm going to try to find it, but there is and I don't know how bad the chase is going to be. Oh, here it is. 1989 Topps baseball autograph checklist. I don't know if this is wrong. I would have to obviously verify it once it does come out. But there's a Joey Votto in a Toronto Blue Jays card auto. I think that's pretty
Huh?
cool. Granted, he didn't play a game with the Blue Jays, but obviously, if you know Joey Votto, he's from the Canada area. He's obviously very big within that, and tried coming with the Toronto or tried making his comeback with the Toronto Blue Jays. Um, but there's an on-card auto of that. I think that would be a pretty cool chase. Like he didn't play a game there with them officially, hometown kid. So I think that's kind of like a little bit of an interesting chase, um, as far as of that. But of course, mine is from those type of players, the veteran players. Obviously, there are your rookies. You have your Jackson, all the Jacksons there: Junior Caminero, Jackson Churro, Jason Dominguez, Colton Cowser, Evan Carter, just to name a few here. Shota Imanaga. Who else do we have here? Just looking through it here. Cedine Rafaela from our Boston Red Sox. Then, of course, we have a little bit of a mix of some veterans. So we have Greg Maddux, Reggie Jackson, Derek Lee. That's kind of a random one. Hunter Pence with the Giants. Joey Carter, Jackson Holiday, Jorge Posada from the Yankees, Sandy Koufax. He made his debut also in Chrome, but he's now coming into flagship as well. Adrian Beltre, Albert Pujols, David Ortiz, Jesse Pedroia. So there's a lot of cool cards there in just the 1989 autos. And obviously there's a ton of different autos here for different players. But the big thing here that I like with this set list, and we kind of touched upon it too as well, is the All-Star game. There is going to be official All-Star game relics. And once again, Paul Skeens is going to be in this. There's All-Star Jumbo Patch. He is going to be in this again. I'm not too sure if it's going to be player worn or game worn. Maybe a little bit of both potentially. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting to see. And there's some pretty cool all-star stitches, triple checklists. So like there's a Paul Skeens, Hunter Green, and Tyler Glasnow card. I think that's pretty sweet. There's a Jackson Merrill, Ellie De La Cruz, and Paul Skeens. There's a Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani. Who else is on this here? It's very, very loaded as far as that. Teoscar, Shohei, and Freddie Freeman. Those are again all-star stitches, triple checklist. There's a dual checklist. Let's see here. There's a Jaron Duran and Tanner Houck. So if you like a specific team, and you had multiple representees from your favorite team, you can go out and chase those cards. I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for the Tanner Houck and Jaron Duran cards. I'm pretty sure that'd be pretty cool for the PC. Paul Skeens and Shota Imanaga, like two rookie pitchers who are doing phenomenal things right now in their rookie year. Paul Skeens and Ryan Reynolds, or Ryan Reynolds. I'm taking Deadpool here. Brian Reynolds from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So yeah, I mean, it's what I like about Update Series. They obviously incorporate the All-Star game. Obviously, those jerseys were hideous, but it's going to be pretty cool to finally get some All-Star game and get some used relics. Hopefully, game used relics. When you see that there, does that make the chase? I know we kind of discussed here, like obviously you don't buy a lot of hobby boxes, but did that make this a little bit more exciting for you? Like to say, like, hey, like $87, I'll be willing to risk my chances there, or gamble some chances there, and potentially get a Paul Skeens relic or one of those cool dual or triple autos or something like that.
Yeah, like I'm still like browsing through the list right now just to look at all the autos. So like I'm looking right now like the 1989 Topps Baseball Chrome autograph variations. They have a Nomar in a Boston Red Sox jersey, so that'd be pretty cool. They have a Jason Varitek. Um, so Ichiro's in here. Daryl Strawberry's in here. It's just a lot of cool guys on here. So and again, Sammy Sosa's in here. Ricky Henderson. So yeah, just for the price, just the fact that it's not as high as all these other high end products, I think is a little bit more appealing to somebody who doesn't want to spend all that money on cards.
Yeah, and then I don't believe there's been an official release date as far as of yet. Let me check here.
Yeah,
There's
I think it
not
still says it's on
one.
pre-order, right?
Let me check the Topps website really quick. I could have swore there was
Yeah,
an
I'm on it right
announcement,
now.
but
I'm on it right now, and it just says it's on pre-order.
pre-order gotcha. Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. Let's see. I could have swore I thought I saw on
Yeah, it just doesn't
October.
say.
I would assume on October is some type of release date, but I know there is some other releases that are coming out 3rd. That same day, I believe October 11th, we have Top Cosmic Chrome that's coming out. That's one of the bigger sets as well. Once that set, once we do, I don't know if there's a checklist as far as that, but we could definitely go over that set once it does come out. But yeah, update series again. I'm always a big fan of it. I always like to buy a couple of boxes of it. I'm gonna try to make a cool little video for you guys. I'm gonna try to buy a if my wallet allows me. Going to try a box of every product or a pack of every product. So like a fat pack, a hanger box, a retail box, a jumbo, a hobby box, and try to see like what's the best value for your buck. And obviously, there are going to be a lot of YouTubers. I believe his name is Striker Breaks. He goes really, really deep into the set list. Like he'll break down the card, the price per card, the parallels. So he'll kind of break it down for you as far as what's going to be the best bang for your buck when it comes to opening product. But yeah, I think overall, again, the biggest name in this year is going to be Paul Skeens. He's basically going to carry this product on his back, and obviously, I think for me too, I'm trying to get into sealed collections. I'm trying to slowly build up that collection. I think maybe having a sealed box, like a sealed hobby or sealed jumbo box of this set will be kind of cool. It's just gonna take a lot of willpower to not open up that box, because once you open up one, you don't pull what you like. There's one box that's right next to you that you just want to dive deep into that rip. But yeah, once we do get official release date, obviously we'll be covering it here on the podcast, probably on the channel as well. And we'll be doing a couple of live, not I don't want to say live breaks, but obviously doing some recording of some breaks. I know you kind of mentioned it too, that if you open up some boxes, maybe recording a little bit, we could definitely make a little bit of a video out of that and make some cool content. Open up some cards, who gets the better box, maybe pack battles. You never know. We'll come up with something pretty cool and
Battle.
pretty fun, and think of something there to carry on this update series. So stay on the tune for that once we do get the official release date and get some thoughts and get some product into our hands. Any final thoughts on the product itself before we dive into our final topic here?
No, I think we kind of hit everything on there. Like I said, it's gonna be an interesting product, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna be buying some boxes of that.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for your retail stores. Keep an eye out for that release date, and also follow me on Twitter because obviously, and Tops as well. They definitely will be announcing that, and once they do announce it, obviously, I'll have a tweet out, and probably some sort of short form content on that. So keep an eye out there for those socials once we do get that date. Now, to head into someone here who is obviously has been a big part of the hobby and obviously going to be a big part of the series as well when it comes to autos or relics or whatever the case may be, it's going to be Shohei Ohtani. Now, of course, Shohei Ohtani, we touched upon him a little bit last episode as well, about the potential pitching aspect. Of course, we both were on the agreement there that he is not going to be pitching this year just based on the overall environment. But of course, right after that recording, he decided to do something here pretty spectacular. Decided to be the first player to join the 50-50 club and is now pushing 60-60. At the time here of this recording, let's see here where he's currently at. I looked up CJ Abrams and lost his baseball reference page. But looking at it here, Shohei Ohtani is now at 53 home runs and 55 stolen bases with the OPS at
55.
1.023 and an OPS of 186. Now, Shohei Ohtani, 50-50. You were watching it live. What was going through your mind? I believe he had an extra home run after that. He went what, 6 for 6 with like 3 home runs, driven 7,
Yeah,
something crazy like
six.
that, driven
Yeah.
10, something crazy like that. Um, it's fair to say this guy is on a different planet, right?
Yeah, I did. Um, yeah, I mean, what he's doing is it's pretty crazy. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Like, do you how do you feel about like all like these like 40-40 clubs, 50-50 clubs? Like, do you think like they're like I don't know how to put it. You think they're like over exaggerating with the clubs and stuff like that a little bit?
So, and that's why and with this segment here is probably gonna go maybe like 20, 30 minutes. And that's why like like I obviously like I love baseball. And we obviously I would have a podcast that's dedicated, man. But some of the fan base and some of just people are just so annoying, like with it. Like people like right away, he did the 50-50, and some people right away were like, oh, it's because of the rule changes. Oh, it's because he's not pitching. Oh, because there's bigger bases. Like, man, just appreciate greatness. Like, no one's done 50-50. And from my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think anybody's done 60-60. I don't believe anybody's done
No,
60-60.
I don't think so.
Um,
No.
um, obviously we had Acuna what he did with 40-70 last year. But for me personally, I like him a lot because to do this on a well, how many games has he played this year? He's played
Maybe
155
three.
games. And yes, he's a DH. I understand it. I acknowledge that. But to do this at his pace while also rehabbing Tommy John, like that's not easy to do. So for me, I appreciate them. I like the even numbers. I like the 50-50s. I like the 60-60s. Like I mentioned, I think I don't, was it the second or third episode? I know. And then we kind of mentioned the 40-70s. That's kind of crazy. But granted, I'm not taking away anything away from 70 stolen bags. But yeah, to answer your question, 50-50s, 60-60s, 70-70s, whatever you want to do. I like them a lot. I think they're really cool for the game. Call them stat padding, call them rule changes, call them whatever you want. But I like them a lot. I don't know how you feel about them, but
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
me
a
too,
fan of
man.
them.
I think a lot of, and I don't know if it's maybe just all the old heads that are just like have to complain about every single little thing about it. And I don't know if that's what it is. But yeah, it's like you said, it's like we just got to take a moment back and be like, who knows if we're ever going to see this again, or how lucky we are that we saw this. So like I was comparing him to, I would compare Otani's current season to 23's Acuna and 22 Judge. And the reason why I did that is because obviously 23 Acuna is when he sold the 73 bags, and people were complaining that bags were too bigger, and that's the reason why he got all those steals. For Judge, I decided to compare to Judge because when he hit the 62 home runs, it's because people argument was like, well, that's an AL record, it's not the MLB record. It's like, who the hell cares? Like, it's still a record. Like, just enjoy it. I mean, I think if you tell me that when Judge was on pace to break those home runs and you were getting those MLB at bat notifications like, oh, Judge is at bat, like you can't tell me you weren't clicking on it just to chime in, Um, so I mean, just comparing all those seasons, like from a WAR standpoint, Judge led in WAR. He had a 10.5 compared to Acuna's 8.2 and Shohei's 8.4, and the 8.4 as a DH is insane.
DH. Yeah.
Um, Same thing with OPS plus. Otani's at a 186, Acuna's at a 171, and Judge was at a 210. So the only thing I think where I kind of fall back, where is kind of like I think a lot of people are trying to say like this is like the best offensive season for a batter. I don't think that's the case. Um, because you kind of have to dig a little bit deeper into the numbers. So I did like a real broad search. I did so in the wild card era for a player that played at least 100 games and had an OPS higher than 180. Shohei's current season puts him at the 24th. So there's 23 other players that had a higher OPS than he currently has, and since 1995. Of course, the first four are going to be Barry Bonds. Um,
Bonds.
so
That's where
do
my
with that
brain
you
went
wish.
to. Yeah, right.
And it's yeah, and incidentally, number five is Aaron Judge, and currently this year. So I mean, and there's been a lot of talk that Aaron Judge is not getting a lot of love, which he kind of isn't, and I think it's for the fact that he kind of was at one point on pace to break his own record, and then he wasn't, and all sort of blah blah blah. But um, yeah, I mean, I think we should all just enjoy it. Like, I think I even saw a tweet the other day, or I think it was earlier today. Um, it was a picture of the Tops Now card that went on sale as soon as he broke the 50-50, and somebody was like, this is probably gonna be the most, or every other Shohei card is now more rare because this is now the most common card. 'Cause I'm pretty sure everybody bought the card. So, but yeah. But speaking of clubs, one last thing I did when we're talking about all these little clubs, um, Shohei currently, like you said, he's at 53 home runs, 55 stolen bases, and he's at 34 doubles. So if he gets to 40 doubles, he'll join Alfonso Soriano with the 40-40 club. But I guess in this case, it'd be 50-50, 50-50-40 club, right? So So would he be part of the 40-40-40 club, or would he be part of the 50-50-40 club?
I think he officially joins the 40-40 club.
The
He's a part of that
40-40-40 club,
club.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be a part of that
Yeah,
club because he'll be one of the players that have at least 40 home runs, 40 doubles,
40
and 40
doubles
solo bases.
and 40 stolen
Yeah.
bases. Okay, yeah, that's what I might have
Yeah.
figured. Yeah, so he's six. He's I don't know if they played tonight, the Dodgers, but I had these stats as
I
of
don't
this
think so.
morning. So he's six doubles away of joining Alfonso Soriano, who did it in 2006 for the Washington Nationals when he hit 46 home runs, 41 stolen bases, and 41 doubles. So, yeah, and Acuna's on here. He fell five doubles short in 2003. So, pretty interesting note. So, I guess we'll see if he can join another club.
Yeah. So, yeah, Shohei, and you kind of hinted it there with the card. If I think Topps even released like a 50-53, 50-52s. I think they did. I'm not too sure. Someone would have to fact check me on that. But you kind of touched upon it there. Now, from my understanding, I don't believe you saw the number. I made a TikTok about it. I don't think you saw the TikTok as well. So I'm gonna let you guess because Topps did officially announce the number as far as of how many cards were purchased. And now, if you don't know what we're talking about, once obviously Shohei Ohtani broke the 50-50 record, or became the first player to be part of 50-50. Topps did release a special Topps Now card commemorating his 50-50. And if you are one of the lucky purchasers of this card, you will win or be able to get a one of one inscribed card um, of Shohei Ohtani. Now, I think I also saw some people saying like, "Oh, like who's going to inscribe the card or how are they going to get that?" I think people also fail to recognize that Shohei Ohtani has a signed exclusive deal with Topps, so I'm pretty sure he can sign an exclusive and get that card inscribed. Is it going to take a little bit? I'm pretty sure it is. Due to very busy man, it's on the way of going to the postseason, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to be right off the bat. But I'm going to leave it to you. I'm going to let you guess how many cards do you think were purchased of the Shohei Ohtani 50-50 card?
Ooh, 1.5 mil. I don't know. I'm going.
A
I'm
little
going odd
overboard there.
number.
That a little bit high, a little bit high. If there's 1.5, I would have been
750K.
such your final answer.
Yeah.
Not too far off. The Topps Now card for Shohei Ohtani, his official print run was 653,737. So that means that's how many cards were purchased, and out of one of those cards, you will be one of the lucky winners or users given of that one of one inscribed card. I bought the 5-pack bundle. Is it going to increase my chances? Probably not. I got shafted by Topps earlier in the year with the Topps Now. I bought the 10-pack of the Ellie De La Cruz. I believe I still have a stack of them here trying to get that cool little short print. They sent me all the same base cards. So was a little bit disappointed in that. You bought just one card, right? So you're risking it all. I don't know what the odds are on that. Just one card, just one eight ninety
Hey man,
nine
just
or 12.999.
ship it my way. Yeah, the sneaky, cheeky guys, man. I want to raise the price for this because I think when you texted me, I was like, and I texted you, I was like, "Hey, are you grabbing the Shohei card?" And you asked me about the price. I was like, "Dude, I think it was like, I think I ended up spending like $15 or $13 for the with the shipping
Yeah,
and all
typically
that."
Tops Now. Yeah, typically Tops Now they go for 8.99. Like you can buy the Tristan Cassis 3 home run day for 8.99. So they did increase the price um a little bit as far as of that. But and also to kind of put into a little bit of context as far as of the uh of what those numbers do. Now, obviously, this is a baseball podcast, but obviously, we talk about the hobby. Obviously, there is a USA card that features LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant. If you bought that card from the USA Olympics, you also get a one of one card or enter the chance to win a one of one autographed on card auto. Now, I'm going to let you guess this one as well. How many cards do you think of that was purchased?
Of that one, of the USA one,
Of the USA one. Again, the opportunity to get the one of
Shohei.
one.
So yeah, that one's got to
Shohei,
be.
final
That's got to
numbers,
be.
Shohei was
With
653, 737.
I'm gonna go 800,000 maybe.
800,000 final answer?
Final answer.
I wish I had a buzzer here. So you, my friend, are wrong, and actually was lower than the LeBron card. The LeBron card, or Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant card, was 588,030. So whatever
And
that
people
math
say
is, it's
baseball is dying.
so let's do some math here. So 653. I didn't do this in my TikTok. It was too much math. 653, 737 minus 588, 030. So 65,707 cards, more cards were purchased for the Shohei Ohtani card. Obviously, I think the thing you got to consider with that as well as obviously the international impact. I'm pretty sure there
Oh, that's true.
um,
Yeah.
was a lot of those types of obviously there's that international market, and I don't think somebody from France is going to be buying a, maybe if they appreciate basketball, maybe I don't know. I can't speak on that. If I'm
They
French,
might.
maybe I'm buying that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm French, maybe I'm buying that card if they appreciate basketball. But yeah, 65,707 more cards were purchased for the Shohei than the three players are LeBron, Steph, and KD. But when I saw that, I was very shocked because I would have thought about that card would have surpassed, because again, that's the first time that they've all been on one card together, if I'm not mistaken, and especially with the on card auto. I don't believe that's been officially been pulled as far as yeah. I know the one of one got pulled, the golden card that's over at Golden Auctions. So again, we're a baseball podcast, but also a hobby podcast. So if you didn't know that, now you do. But yeah, I don't know how long it's going to take for these Otani cards to be printed and be mailed. It's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. I believe if they treat it like the NBA pack, they're going to send you like a little special little pack where you have to like rip open it. And you may get the auto, you may get like a parallel. That's what they did with the USA one, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be curious to see how they handle um, this one, and definitely again keep out on the socials for that. Once we do get our cards again, Bro Pio will be recording his opening, and I definitely will be doing my opening as well. Now, just some final thoughts here on our end before the card itself. The overall card, do you like that idea of the tops now? And I know some people are kind of saying it's more of like a hit and miss type thing. Maybe they should just throw that in a pack or something. I don't know. Like, do you like the tops now and those type of like packs and that type of commemorating celebration, things like that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I know it's just probably another way for money tops to take all that money, but I mean, I like it. I mean, and you can pick and choose what moments you want to buy, and regardless of how many cards they print out, like I don't think you buy this. I mean, obviously, if you're trying to pull all those autos, but if you're not thinking with that mindset, like you just want, hey, I just want this card to commemorate the moment. Like I have a tops now of when Brock Holt hit the cycle in the
It's like
ALDS
I
against the
remember you about
Yankees in
that. Yeah.
18. So I have that Tops Now card, and I ain't trying to sell it. It's for me. So yeah, I think it's just more of a personal preference. I like them, and it's better than I can just go and buy it directly myself than having to buy all these damn packs and trying to pull it. So I like them, and like I said, you can just pick and choose whenever you want to buy them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I was gonna show this one off here because yeah, I do have a few of the tops now. Like I mentioned, I got the Ellie cards here, but this one I picked up at a recent card show. I think about a month ago or 2 weeks ago. Got the Shohei Ohtani, and for the YouTube viewers, the
Mm.
Shohei Ohtani and Paul Skeens. Like these are just very cool moments, and you can slab them up if you want. Be a part of that MLB history. This was a very cool moment. If you don't know what we're talking about, obviously Shohei Ohtani and Paul Skeens went against each other. First at bat, Paul Skeens struck him out, and then second at bat here, Shohei Ohtani got it back with the homer. And it was pretty cool because obviously you could tell Paul Skeens was a big fan of him and was laughing and smiling and things like that. So yeah, tops now. I like them a lot. Obviously, it's more of a gamble type thing. You're hoping to get the auto or some type of different parallel. I have never had any luck with those parallels, but hey, maybe Thompson this just and maybe want to bless Moon 3PO, or maybe they want to bless Bro PO on his one card there. Definitely. I will need to do some betting odds there. Like what are the odds of you buying one card and whatever the percentages percentually getting um that inscribed card. That inscribed card there is pretty cool. I believe it just has what does it officially have on there? Obviously has the signature, and then has the 50-50 club, and has the date that he accomplished it. So it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm curious to see what that card does. I'm pretty sure whoever pulls it, that card automatically is going to an auction. I'm curious to see what that card does in an auction. Like I'm pretty sure maybe
It was
golden
like
or I know.
the guy who caught the ball. Do you know if it's been like I know the guy walked away with the ball, but I haven't heard anything else about it. I'm pretty sure that's gonna go to auction. I don't even want to know what that's gonna do.
Yeah, for the last thing I saw was that he got the ball and that he didn't give it up. Like he like went away. Like I think
Yeah.
they made him a deal and he said no. My thing with that's always been like tricky is like if he took the ball home, like how do you like and let's say he does sell it like eventually or takes it to an auction, like how do you authenticate that? Like what stops me from going to get
I
another
think
baseball?
I think you have to ask for it to be authenticated, or can they refuse to authenticate it?
I have no idea. Because I remember like the thing, and this is dating back a few years ago when A Rod hit his 3,000th hit. It was the home run,
Yeah,
and it was caught
my
by the
boy Zach
very
Campbell.
famous, the very famous Zach Campbell, and he caught it, and he didn't want to give it up at the time. He took it home, and then like the big thing with them, they were like saying like, well, how do we know this is the ball? And he was like showing them like this is where he hit it. This is a skid mark and blah blah blah. I don't know. I've always been so
Oh
curious about that.
yeah.
Like when what's to say like I can down the line say like if I'm that
Well,
person.
that there's a video of the people fighting over it. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah,
it
I
on
saw like the
Twitter.
guy's like about to like break his arm and literally his arm was about to break.
Dude, that was wild.
But yeah,
That's a cool. You hit it in Miami, right? Yeah, it's a cool spot. We went to the Marlins game in what 2019, I think we went.
oh,
Um,
I forgot he went to that ballpark.
that little area that they're in, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty nice little
It used to be
spot.
like a
So I was
is
like,
it's still not is it a club
you
still?
used it apparently before one of the guys that I was talking to apparently used to have a separate ticket to get into that area. But when I went, it was like a shit show, and like they were like, yeah, anybody can come in here now. I was like, oh fucking a. So I was literally sat like right there, and I was like right up against the gate. It was pretty cool. But yeah.
Yeah, so right when I saw that clip, like, yeah, I knew he was gonna take off with that ball. Um, I'm pretty sure the bases I probably went to like the Hall of Fame or something like that. I know Tops also does that too, where they used to
They
take the
took his
bases.
cleats.
It took his
I
cleats.
think they took his
He
cleats.
had his dog,
Yeah,
right? He had his dog.
yeah.
What's his dog's name? Badger or something, or Proto, or
I don't remember.
something like that. Uh, I know they took the cleats. I don't know who took the bases. I don't know if Tops maybe got a hold of those bases and maybe they put that in a card. I know they used to do that, or they still do that with the Tops Now card. So, uh, yeah, Shohei Ohtani, very exciting. Pushing 60-60, close. Like we mentioned here, he's currently at 53 and 55, 53 home runs, 55 stolen bags. They did not play
50,
today,
50, 50,
unfortunately.
40.
Yeah, or that 50 40 40 or 40 40 or 40 50 40, whatever it
50,
is.
50,
Uh,
50, 40.
50 50 40. There you go. 50 50 40 club, 60 60. Gonna be very exciting to see these cards here again. Very, very cool. I'm a big fan of them. Again, I cover them on my TikTok, so please feel free to check out those socials. Um, as when those cards come out, because I definitely will be promoting them very heavily. And hopefully, Tops bless me, the one of one. Let's see what, or bless me with some type of parallel. But that's all that we had here on this episode of Cardboard Dugout. Now, before we log off here, Bro PO, do you have any other final thoughts before we officially log off and say goodbye to the good listeners?
Of course, yeah. I got a couple things here. I know we're probably gonna dig into this probably next week when we do our playoff predictions. But currently, right now, the wild card race is looking a little bit interesting up in the AL. Just wanted to mention the Detroit Tigers, who currently hold right now the second wild card spot. They called up their uh, top pitching prospect, who is actually the number two ranked prospect according to Baseball America, Jackson Job. So kind of tied in that race. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, we all thought that they were. I mean, not that they sold off a lot. They traded Jack Flaherty and Andrew Chafin.
Jack Flaherty. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know how much of a selling that could be, but yeah, it looks like they're gearing up for the run. And I saw this thing on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. I retweeted it earlier that there is a way for the Red Sox to make it. I don't know if you saw this. So apparently, this guy on Reddit. So of course, do with you as you with that it was on Reddit. That if this goes in this sort of way that he did it, that the Red Sox would win the tiebreaker, and therefore be in the sixth uh, wild card spot. So I was only gonna bring this up if they won tonight, which they did. So the Red Sox would need to win all 6 games, right? Kansas City will need to go 2-4, and they're currently on a 7-game losing streak, and they got 3 up against Washington and 3 against Atlanta, which incidentally Atlanta is also in the playoff hunt. They're 2 games out of the wild card spot. So that's that. The Twins will need to go 3-3, which they have 3 against Miami and 3 against Baltimore. And then Seattle will need to go 4-2. But according to this, he says it's not a necessary outcome. But Boston will still need to clinch the second wild card. So apparently, if Kansas City wins 2, Minnesota wins 3, and we win all 6, that somehow we would win the tiebreaker and clinch the 6th seed spot. So let's see how that goes. And I was like, man, I was like, I'm gonna wait to see how. So then I saw this little, see a little fucking
Oh, that little meme, right, of him with the
yeah, with the gun. Yeah. So let's see how that plays out. And then on a farewell sad note, Chuck Nasty announced his retirement from the Rockies. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Um,
I knew you were gonna bring it
so
up. Yeah,
he
I
was,
figured.
yeah, I don't know. He was when I went to, well, I've been to Coors Field, and he was like, I don't know, he was my favorite player on the Rockies. So I thought it was pretty interesting that he was retiring already. So then I had to look it up. He's like 37. He had an
14
okay
years, right?
year. So, but yeah, he
14
played
years in the
14 years from
bigs.
what I saw. Yeah. So yeah, he's calling to quit. So we at Cardboard Dugout wish you the best of luck in retirement, Mr. Charlie Blackman,
Mr. Chuck Nasty.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chuck
I
Nasty.
saw that right before we got on. I was like, oh, I know you're gonna bring it up. I know you love some Chuck Nasty and what he's did over there. Yeah, some final thoughts here on my end as far as the baseball wise. Of course, the teams here that have officially clinched a playoff berth. That's going to be the Dodgers, Milwaukee Brewers. They have officially clinched the NL Central. I know we kind of talked about that last episode as well. I think the rising star of that is going to be Jackson Churchill. Obviously, we're going to go into that a little bit deeper. But keep an eye out for Jackson Churchill. 20 years old, 2020. It's going to be very fun to watch him in the postseason, but obviously go deeper into that. The Philadelphia Phillies officially clinched the NL East for the first time in a couple of years. If I'm not saying, obviously that division has been run by the Braves the last couple of years, and like you just briefly mentioned, they're currently 1.5 games out of the last wild card. So Phillies Mets playoff game, Grimace versus Philly Fanatic. That's going to be very fun to see if that playoff is to come into fruition. Nobody from the AL West has officially clinched as far as of yet. I presumably Houston once again is going to take that division. And then we got the AL Central, the GABA Guards. I always call them the GABA Guards. Ash Ketchum always the last when I say it. So the GABA Guards clinching their division here, led by first-year manager Stephen Vogt. Going to be interesting to see how that plays out moving forward. And of course, we have the New York Yankees officially clinching the playoff berth. But yes, like Bro Pio just mentioned, we are going to be recording this Sunday. This episode is probably going to be out Wednesday. So I do apologize for the delay, but actually coming out a little bit earlier because we record usually on Wednesdays, but they come out Friday, so I should not be apologizing. We,
Usually we
yeah, I don't know.
usually we record Thursday night sometimes.
Yeah, usually, yeah. Some for the people, the earlier episodes, we were recording Thursday night, and I would get that uploaded Friday evening. But yeah, doing a little bit of an earlier episode this week just because we had a lot of baseball news, a lot of baseball card content coming out. If there is something crazy that happens within the hobby and or cards, maybe emergency pod, maybe not, maybe just a video over on the Mood 3PL channel. So please feel free to go check that out again if you haven't. But yeah, Sunday we will be recording an episode because that is when the baseball season will be officially wrapped. So we'll be having our playoff predictions just because the bracket will be officially announced. So that episode will be out on Monday. So technically 2 episodes coming out pretty close to each other. So keep an eye out there for the socials for the overall podcast. So, and if you guys have been enjoying the podcast, please again feel free to leave a like, comment, follow for more. If you guys haven't yet subscribed to those other platforms, Apple or Spotify, please feel free to subscribe to those and leave a rating because obviously that is a free way for me to know how we're doing as podcasters. Obviously, this is our first time together going around it. And we're always open to feedback as far as what you guys like, don't like, or what you guys want to see more of. Because obviously there is an audience that wants to see a little bit more of something. So please feel free to leave those reviews and or feel free to tweet me at the same handle at Moon3PO, or you can tweet at BroPio. He will be tagged there in the production or the promoting of this tweet. As far as of overall content as well coming from the podcast itself, we do, like I mentioned in the last episode, do got a lot of things cooking on this on our end here. Some potential guests, potential interviews, potentially. There is a lot of things here that I'm cooking up on my end. So I'm very excited to be bringing you guys that type of content, and there will be some different content that's coming in forms of short form media. So please feel free to check out again those socials. I heavily promote that because again, it is very important if you guys want to stay in the loop with our content to check those out. So again, that is going to be all at Moon 3PO. I think that is everything I had here on my end. We got the clinchers, we got the final thoughts, we got the content that's coming up. Yeah, that is going to be it for me and Bropio. If you guys like, subscribe if you're on YouTube, follow for more. And thank you for listening and stay tuned for the next one.